Robert.
Go ahead and start off for the fifth.
Okay. We're going to call a public meeting. It'll be on the resolution to change the alcohol. And with that, we're going to add into section 21-135 just the word special events facility. And then in section 21-189, we're going to add the special events facility shall not be required to have a full service commercial kitchen in order to acquire either a full pouring license, retail sale of distilled spirits, wine, and beer by the drink, or limited pouring license, retail sale of wine and malt beverages by the drink. Special events facility shall be exempt from any requirement to derive a minimum percent of the establishment's total annual gross sales from food. Alcohol sales may be conducted outside the structure of the special events facility at an outdoor patio. Poured alcohol beverage shall be transported from the point of dispensing to the consumer by permitted employees only. Permitted employees are those who apply for and receive employee training license, authorizing such employees to take orders and transport alcoholic beverages to the consumers. That is just adding into the existing liquor ordinance. Are there any comments at this time? Public comments? No? Okay, then that public meeting, or that next one will be on the ordinance of approving conditional permit use to land management to the Pendergrass, and this will be the local wedding venue, changing it to a conditional user permit. Did you want to say anything about it?
Good evening. I could just reiterate that this is now the public hearing for the City Council. We held one in late June for the Planning Commission. We had a public hearing and vote, so this would be considered the second public hearing for the City Council, and the vote is also scheduled this evening. I think we're all familiar with the conditional use permit application at this time, and the applicant is here. I'm sure he'd like to speak in favor of the answer.
So thank you, Mayor Ellis, Council members Bradley Dunkel, Rochester, DCC, 425 Oak Street, Gainesville, Georgia, representing Walters Hospitality Group and their effort to have this conditional use permit issued for the property. As you know, the purpose is to construct 2 wedding venues in the 15,000 to 18,000 square foot range, which accommodates approximately 100 to 150 guests for primarily wedding functions, and also the potential for a hotel or cottages in the future that would be in support of the guests that would be attending the events or weddings there. We worked with staff on some conditions, Mr. Atkinson specifically, and we are in agreement with those conditions that have been discussed, and happy to answer any questions or provide any additional information that's needed. We appreciate the opportunity. Our client's excited to be in Pendergrass and ready to start moving forward on your consideration.
Any council members have any questions for Mr. Dunkel?
I have one question, not really for you. Okay, thank you for changing everything.
Sure.
Changing some stuff on it.
Absolutely.
I was told that we have to have another public hearing due to the fact that we changed it to a special conditions permit. Is that correct, or
We did that last.
No, so how this transpired is my understanding that initially in February, there was a rezoning application. There was not a public hearing for that. There was no vote. It's my understanding there were some work sessions where Mr. Dunkall and the applicant came in and had some discussion. When I came on board to assist Pendergrass looking at the code, I thought it more appropriate to submit a conditional use permit because that's the venue is allowed as a conditional use permit under the current zoning. So another application was then resubmitted for a conditional use permit, which is basically almost exactly the same information that goes in the rezone. But when that was submitted, then that's when it was advertised. We had the first public hearing for the planning commission, and then advertised, and signs were put up for this meeting. So there is two being held specifically for the conditional use. So there's not another one per the code or anything that I know of that would qualify that. Most things are only the two. I'm not sure if there's of any that really require more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem at all.
Another question from the council? So to the public? Any questions from the public? Questions, comments?
You probably wrote down rocks. I came the other day wanting a zoning ordinance from Renee. She got me one, but it's not got no signatures or anything signed on it. I was just wondering if you was able to find one signed or not.
Whatever I get right now.
Okay, so it wasn't signed or whatever you said there whenever I picked it up. And this wedding venue, the gentleman just got up talking about it, he didn't mention motel. The zoning application says they want a 3-story motel. And in the city's zoning ordinance that I got, we don't know where it's legal yet or not, it says, if not otherwise stated in this permit and everything, it's not on this list, it cannot be put in the city. A motel that don't have to be on the list. So the motel should be taken out completely by the zoning.
Excuse me for just a minute. Can you speak up just a little bit? I can't hear what you're saying.
I say that they don't have a signed zoning ordinance in this city. They can't find it. Rob made it in 2005, correct? That's what you give me up there.
I don't know if Rob made it, but
Well,
we have it in
it was
2005.
done in 2005, and that's even before Renee's here, correct?
I was here in 2000. You're asking when I got here?
Yeah.
2008.
2008. This zoning application was actually filled out and done back in 2005. And I came here in 2020 and asked for a zoning ordinance and everything, and Rob said they didn't have it. So that's what I was told. And now we can't find a signed copy of one that's done in 2005. So legally, they don't even have a zoning application or anything to fill out to get it because they don't have a zoning ordinance in the city. And hotel and cottages, or whatever, hotel is surely not going to be put on agricultural property. The zoning won't let it go there with agricultural property on a special use permit that they're trying to get. I don't have a problem with the wedding venue, motels, not legally supposed to be out there. And if you give them the zoning part now, they're going to be grandfathered in. The city needs to come up with an ordinance and everything. Zoning is part of the city that they can guidelines they can go by before they give their permission for a motel. So if they give them a motel and they got that deadline, so they're grandfathered in and they go out there, and if their wedding venue don't work, they can sell it to some big motel chain and they build a motel. So legally, the motel can't go on that piece of property. I just want all the city council to know it. I mean, I talked with this gentleman, Bill, today, so told him the concerns and everything about your zoning. If you don't have a signed zoning ordinance, you don't even have it. Everything that you're trying to do. I just want to get it right there. What's right. So I have to say, whatever you got.
So we did have a zoning ordinance, signed zoning ordinance, before we start working on this new special conditions?
I've given the zoning code and zoning ordinance that I have.
That you have, that wasn't signed?
If I didn't give them a signed sheet,
It was
then I
not
didn't
signed.
have.
And she said she would look for it.
So what do we do in special conditions now on something that is not there?
By the zoning ordinance is there, but you really don't have a zoning ordinance, so you come up with one that's signed. And nobody seems to be able to find one that's signed back in 2005, and you need the minutes and the meeting and all when it happened, everything's for it to be legal.
I just walked into this, but
Well,
my understanding is that you were saying that there is not a signed zoning ordinance from 2005.
correct. They don't have one on file either.
And it is your contention, I guess, that if there's not a signed zoning ordinance since 2005, that there is no zoning ordinance whatsoever in the city.
Correct.
If there's no zoning ordinance whatsoever in the city, then this developer could build anything that he wanted to, could he not? If there's no zoning ordinance at all in the city, then this developer or any developer could build anything on any parcel within the city limits. Is that
I would think.
correct?
I would think.
You know, what ordinance or what regulations would prohibit him from building a 30-story hotel if there is no zoning?
Well, I don't know, I guess it does if you know the law, and I don't, sir, I'm not gonna.
So that's what I'm saying.
But they need to find, as long as they find them, and
So what he's saying, there's a special condition on something that doesn't exist, but we haven't seen it.
Right.
My understanding, well,
Do whatever they want.
my
I think
understanding,
it needs to be tabled to a later date, if you have time to look into it more yourself, sir.
if you are correct and there is no zoning in this city, then this gentleman can just start building whatever he wants to because we have the regulations on it. I don't think that's the case. I just walked in the door here at this job, and my understanding is that this city has been operating under this zoning ordinance since 2005 and has made decisions repeatedly under this zoning ordinance. There is a record problem. My understanding is that there are a lot of things that we can't find or haven't been unable to find at this point, as far as things like that. But my understanding would be, in the law, you can have ratification by use and custom. If this council has repeatedly used this zoning ordinance, this piece of paper that you've been handed, as the basis of every single zoning decision that they've made over the last 2 decades, then that is the zoning ordinance of the city. If it makes you feel better, if we want to get this council to come in and actually ratify it officially on paper so you can have something to take home and put in your notebook with their signatures on it, we can do that. But I think that their use of this in the past 2 decades ratified that ordinance. And my recommendation is that this zoning ordinance is the zoning ordinance of the city, and you should proceed as such. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more comments pertaining to the conditional use permit? Then this public meeting is closed. We're going to proceed now